In this video, we're going to dive into TradingView just a little bit more and look at some more tips and tricks, like how to reorganize our chart, clear it out entirely, draw out some future predictions, and even just change the base layout. So when we're looking at TradingView, we only have one chart on here right now, and we're just looking at the plain old Bitcoin chart. But if we want to put multiple charts side by side, we can also do that by hitting our plus button in the top right and adding any of the other charts that we want. And we can just do this and it will add it right on in here for us. And now we can see that I added the Ethereum chart, and it's going to appear right here. And we can also change the style of this by double clicking on this chart. And then from here we can change out any kind of style that we want, and we can make it a bar chart, we can make it a candle chart, we can do anything that we want with this. Now, we're just going to backtrack a little bit by hitting Control Z. And let's just say that I was actually drawing on my chart. Let's just say I draw it a lot. I have a lot of lines up, a lot of support lines, resistance lines, and there's just too much to get rid of. You can just go ahead and hit the trash can button, and that's going to remove everything off of my chart, with the exception of my indicators or moving averages or anything like that. That is not a technical drawing. Now, if I want to place multiple charts side by side, just not on the same chart like I just did a moment ago, I can go up to the top right and actually click Select Layout. It's a little square. Now, if I do this, there's plenty of different layouts that I can choose from, but let's just say I want two different charts to be side by side because I believe that they can be correlated. So what it's going to do is it's going to load up the exact same chart that I am looking at right now. And in order to change one of the two charts, all you have to do is click on it and then type in what chart you would like to upload. Now we're going to do Ethereum. So notice it did not change my left chart because I am currently clicked on my right chart, hence why it is outlined in this blue color. So now I can move around on here, and if I want to edit this chart, all I have to do is click on here to say that I want to be editing this one instead of the other one, and that is just really how I toggle between the two of them. It's a nice little tip and trick, especially if you're looking at a bunch of different markets at the same time. You can even break this down to 4 or 10 or 8 by 8 or whatever you want. You can really break this down to have a ton of charts on here. That way you don't have to have a million different tabs open for your trading view, and you can do it all from a single tab and keep things nice and organized. Now, let's say you wanted to predict a trend, and we're just going to change this layout back to a single chart for the sake of the video. Let's just say that you actually wanted to predict a trend and say, well, if this was what Bitcoin has done on the downside, what would it look like if this thing were to reverse? And what if we actually just took this exact model and flipped this on its head and say, okay, well, that's what the possible upside could look like for Bitcoin. All we really have to do is go down to our toolbar, click on this little bottom one, and then from here, we're going to go to the bars pattern. Now, all we really need to do from here is click the range that we would like to see. We're just going to do from where we started to the current point. And now, what do you know? I have an exact replica of what happened on this candle chart over here, except it's on a bar chart. So let's double click on this, open it up, and we're going to change this from a normal H and L bars chart to an OC. This way it looks just a little bit more like an original candle chart. Now, the next thing that you can notice that I can do is I can mirror this. I can also flip this upside down. I can do a lot with this. I can even change the color if I want to. I can also change some of the visibility settings, but I don't typically tend to touch that guy as much. But I'm just going to mirror this. I'm actually going to say, okay, well, what if we just flip this sideways? And now I can draw this, put it exactly to where we're up to right now, and say, what if we just mirrored this? This is what it would look like if Bitcoin were to continue to the upside with the exact same mirrored pattern that we had to the downside. And so you can use this to kind of theorize, or maybe you have a point, but your little drawing tool just isn't going to look quite as clean and professional. And that's where this tool can come in. It can really come up with some cool concepts for you and a lot more of a clean and professional fashion, so that when you are presenting information, this looks a whole lot better than if you were just drawing and saying, I thought it was going to do this, and then all of a sudden you have lots of squiggly lines that people might not understand quite as clearly. whereas if you were to draw up and paste something like this guy. So lots of tools for you to mess around with in here, and just a little bit of a different way that you can use TradingView to your advantage and also just use it to the fullest.